The mysterious fever and a doctor's race against time. Daniel Carter felt like he was dying. For 2 weeks, an invisible fire raged inside him. His skin burned with fever, his muscles ached as if they were being torn apart, and no matter how many cold showers, painkillers, or antibiotics he took, the fever always came back. He had seen doctors, done blood tests, and been prescribed medications, but nothing worked. Every night, he would wake up drenched in sweat, shaking uncontrollably, his sheets soaked through as if he had been caught in a storm. His body was failing him, and nobody could tell him why. By the time he arrived at St. Mary's Hospital, he could barely walk. His legs trembled as he gripped the nurse's desk, his vision blurred. "I need help," he whispered before collapsing into a chair. That's when he met Dr. Sarah Patel, a woman whose sharp eyes held the kind of intensity Daniel had only seen in detectives on crime shows. She flipped through his medical reports, frowning. "You've been having a fever for how long?" 14 days, he croaked. She studied him, really studied him, like he was a puzzle that needed solving. Unlike the other doctors, she didn't just see a fever. She saw a mystery. The investigation begins. The hospital room became his prison, and Dr. Patel became the only person who seemed determined to free him. She ran every test imaginable: blood cultures, x-rays, scans, even tests for diseases he had never heard of. But the results were always the same: negative, negative, negative. No bacterial infection, no viral infection, no tuberculosis, no dengue, no malaria, nothing. And yet, the fever refused to leave him. By day 5 in the hospital, Daniel's body started to break down. His joints throbbed with pain, like something was grinding his bones together. A rash had spread across his arms, faint but growing darker each day. His night sweats turned into full-body tremors, leaving him gasping for air as the fever spiked past 104 degrees Fahrenheit, 40 degrees Celsius. "I feel like I'm burning from the inside," he mumbled one night, gripping the bedsheets. And then something terrifying happened. One evening, as he sat up to sip some water, the world around him tilted. His heart pounded like a drum, his ears rang, and suddenly, darkness. When he came to consciousness, he was surrounded by nurses. Alarms were blaring. IV lines were being adjusted. Dr. Patel was at his bedside, barking orders. "BP is dropping fast," one nurse shouted. His vision swam as he heard Dr. Patel's voice, firm but urgent. "We need to figure this out now. We're running out of time." For the first time, Daniel felt true fear. This wasn't just a fever anymore. It was something bigger. Something inside him was trying to kill him. Although she was concerned and clueless, Dr. Patel refused to give up. That night, she sat in her office, flipping through his charts for the 100th time. And then, her eyes landed on one tiny detail: a mild abnormality in his blood tests. Nothing obvious, nothing that had raised red flags before. But to her, it was a clue. She ordered a ferritin test, a test most doctors wouldn't think of right away. It was a gamble, but her gut told her she was onto something. The results came back at 3 a.m. A nurse handed her the report, and as soon as Dr. Patel read it, her breath caught in her throat. Ferritin, over 10,000. Daniel woke up to Dr. Patel standing beside his bed, her expression unreadable. "We figured it out," she said. He barely had the strength to respond. "What is it?" She pulled up a chair, leaning in. "It's called adult-onset Still's disease. Your immune system is attacking you, causing the fever, the joint pain, the rash, all of it. Your body thinks there's an infection when there isn't one. Daniel blinked, trying to process her words. His own body was turning against him? If we hadn't caught it, it could have led to organ failure, she continued. But we're starting treatment now. Within an hour, the nurses hooked him up to high-dose steroids. It was his last chance. And then, for the first time in 14 days, the fever broke. Daniel lay there, staring at the ceiling, feeling his body cool down. It was like waking up from a nightmare. The invisible fire inside him was finally dying out. Days later, Daniel sat up in bed, sipping warm tea as the morning sun streamed through his hospital window. His fever was gone, his body finally at peace. Dr. Patel visited him one last time before discharge. "You'll need long-term medication," she warned. "It's not something that completely goes away, but we can control it." Daniel nodded, realizing just how close he had come to losing everything, all because of a disease he had never even heard of. As he walked out of the hospital, he took a deep breath of fresh air, feeling truly alive for the first time in weeks. And in the back of his mind, he knew, if it hadn't been for Dr. Patel's relentless determination, he wouldn't have made it. Some illnesses announce themselves loudly. Others, like Still's disease, lurk in the shadows, waiting to strike. But in the end, medicine is all about finding the hidden enemy before it's too late. In a race against time, Daniel Carter battles a mysterious fever that defies diagnosis, while Dr. Sarah Patel works tirelessly to uncover the hidden enemy attacking his body, ultimately leading to the discovery of adult-onset Still's disease. Most fevers go away in a few days, but if it lasts more than 2 weeks, something serious could be hiding. Daniel had adult-onset Still's disease, AOSD, a rare condition where the immune system attacks the body instead of protecting it. It causes high, repeating fevers, joint pain and swelling, a strange rash, sky-high ferritin levels. If left untreated, AOSD can lead to organ failure or a deadly immune reaction. But with early diagnosis and steroids, most patients recover. The takeaway? If a fever doesn't go away, comes with joint pain or a rash, see a doctor ASAP. Your body might be warning you.